We've all heard it a million times, right? Feeling down, a little anxious? Just go for a run. Exercise for your mental health. And look, it's solid advice, it's backed by tons of research, but it turns out there's a much deeper story here. We're going to get into why not all movement is created equal when it comes to really, truly boosting our mood. First things first, let's just set the stage, because the power of exercise is, well, it's undeniable. A huge Harvard study found that running for just 15 minutes a day can slash your risk of major depression by 26%. I mean, think about that. That is a massive impact for such a small slice of your day. And here's where it gets even more interesting. When you put exercise up against medication for mild to moderate depression, study after study shows that a consistent routine can be just as effective as antidepressants. But, and this is a big but, it comes without all the potential side effects. And this isn't just one or two small studies we're talking about. A giant meta-analysis in the British Medical Journal looked at over 200 different studies and basically confirmed what we're seeing. Simple things, stuff that most of us can do, like walking, jogging, yoga, strength training. These are all incredibly powerful tools against depression. So yeah, the science is pretty settled. Movement helps. But if the answer was as simple as just move more, then we'd all be feeling fantastic, wouldn't we? The story doesn't quite end there. There's a missing ingredient, something that explains why one day a workout can leave you feeling on top of the world, and another day, well, it just feels like a chore. I mean, think about it like this. Frantically cleaning your house before guests come over, that burns calories. So does playing a fun game of soccer with your friends. Both involve physical effort, but do they have the same effect on your mind? Of course not. And that difference, that is the heart of everything we're talking about today. And this is exactly what researchers like Professor Patrick O'Connor are pointing out. For so long, we've been obsessed with the quantity of exercise, the minutes, the reps, the miles, but we've kind of missed the bigger picture. It's the context, the why, the where, and the who you're with, that's the real game changer for your mental health. So to really get why this idea of context is so important, we need to take a quick peek under the hood. Let's talk about what's actually happening inside your brain when you move, because it is so much more than just a simple distraction. Okay, so you've probably heard of these guys, endorphins. Just think of them as your brain's very own all-natural feel-good chemicals. When you get moving, your brain releases them, and that's what gives you that buzz, that lift in your spirits. It's the classic part of the exercise-mood connection. But it actually goes a lot deeper than that. Exercise literally builds up something called stress resilience. And this isn't just about feeling good right now. It's about actively training your brain and your entire nervous system to handle future stress better. It's like strength training for your mind. You're building a more resilient brain. And here's how it works in the real world. Stress creates this nasty feedback loop, right? You start worrying about something, and then all of a sudden your shoulders are up by your ears, your neck is tight. That physical tension causes actual pain and discomfort, which of course just gives you more to worry about. Exercise is the circuit breaker. It physically relaxes those tense muscles and pumps out endorphins, stopping that whole cycle cold. Okay, so we've got the feel-good chemicals, and we're building a more resilient brain. This brings us right back to our main event, context. This is the absolute key that turns simple movement into a seriously powerful tool for your mental well-being. And this is where it all just clicks. Just look at this comparison. A leisure activity, something you choose to do, like a fun bike ride with a friend, is driven by pure enjoyment. The result? A big positive impact on your mental state. Now compare that to an obligatory activity. You're walking to work because you have to. It's pouring rain, you're stressed. The mental outcome there is probably low, maybe even negative. It's the same basic movement, walking, but a totally different context gives you a totally different result. So what this means is that we can actually be intentional about this. We can craft a kind of context recipe to get the most mental bang for a buck. Add some social connection, do it with a friend. Pick an environment you actually love, like a park. Make sure you're doing it because you want to, not because you feel like you have to. And try to be mindful. Just pay attention to how your body feels. These are the ingredients that transform the whole experience. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But let's be real for a second. Knowing what to do and actually doing it are two very different things. And that is especially true if you're already struggling with low energy or motivation, which so often comes with mental health challenges. So let's get practical. Because these barriers are very, very real. We're talking about that deep down exhaustion that makes even the thought of moving feel impossible, or that feeling of just being completely overwhelmed, like you can't possibly add one more thing to your to-do list. And then there's that voice of hopelessness, the one that tells you it won't make a difference anyway. Those feelings are completely valid. But the good news is there are simple ways to work around them. First, start ridiculously small. I'm serious. A 5-minute walk around the block is a huge win. Schedule it for whatever time of day you tend to have the most energy. And this is the most important one. Find your fun. If you hate running, for the love of God, don't run. Dance in your kitchen, play fetch with your dog, team up with a friend. Make it social, make it something you actually look forward to. And hey, for anyone out there whose main barrier is just a crazy packed weekly schedule, listen to this. A cool study out of the UK found that weekend warriors, people who cram all their exercise into 1 or 2 days on the weekend, they get pretty much the same health benefits as people who spread it out. So even a busy schedule doesn't have to be a deal breaker. So really, when you put this all together, what we're talking about is a fundamental shift in how we think about the word exercise. It's time to reframe the whole concept. It is not another chore on your list. It is a powerful tool you have for your own well-being. The real goal here is to start seeing movement as just an integrated part of your lifestyle. It's about finding those enjoyable ways to be active, taking the stairs, having a walking meeting, playing with your kids, that don't feel like a task you have to check off. They're just a natural and hopefully joyful part of your day. And that really leads us to one final big thought. What if the best possible exercise for your mind isn't what we call exercise at all? What if it's playing, or exploring, or dancing, or just walking through a beautiful place with someone you care about? Maybe the key isn't just to move your body, but to find ways to move your spirit too.